Hello, who is it? Comedy, it's me. Oh, Paul, what's going on? I thought you were supposed to be back by now. Yeah. Oh dear, I've been over on the little island. The little island, oh, with Mark? Yes, I visited Mark, and, well, I got mobbed. You got mobbed? Yeah, by, a coachload of Yeti who were visiting the Sacred Isle, you know, the home of the Yeti. You know, the little island is like the sacred home of the Yeti. Oh yes, I do know that. I'm sorry. So what's happened? Well, they recognised me, and they wanted me to show them around. You know, obviously I've been to the little island a few times lately, but you know I'm not an expert. But still, they wouldn't have it any other way. So I can't get back in time to record the next episode. So do you know what favour I have to ask you? You and Yeti Uncle John? Oh, Paul, is it what I think it is? I think it is what you think it is. Could we have another Yeti Spaghetti Show episode? Of course, Paul. Yes, of course. Please do. I mean, yes, we will. Oh dear. Thank you for letting me know. That's all right. Let me know how it goes. I can come on and be a guest again if you'd like. Oh, that might be good. Yes. Anyway, I'll just go and tell you to Uncle John. Thank you. Thanks. What's going on? Paul needs another Yeti Spaghetti episode. Oh, we haven't done one of them for a while. Oh, that's good. Yes. I'm free now. Should we get started? Oh, yes, Yeti Uncle John. Let's get started. Oh gosh, the Yeti Spaghetti Show, episode 4. Oh gosh, I never thought we'd make so many. Oh yes, well, you know. Okay, let's start. Hello and welcome to the Yeti Spaghetti Show. With me, Yeti Uncle John. And me, Comedy. Yes. We're not that shy. No, we're not that shy. No. Come, join us. Hello, listeners. Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Yeti Spaghetti Show. Yes. We're back again with more stories from our lives and also some of our guests' lives. Well, I mean, what have you been up to, Yeti Uncle John? Oh, you know, driving taxis, yeah, that's right. That's what I've been doing. Oh, lovely, great. Well, I've been doing sciencey things down in the laboratory. Yes, but you don't need to know about that. That's not the kind of anecdotes we want to share with you. We've got far more interesting anecdotes. We have indeed, yes. So, who's going to start? I thought I would today. Very good. Well, first of all, I thought I would tell you about the time I decided to build a laughter-powered submarine. A laughter-powered submarine? How did that work? Well, I'd long suspected that joy was a renewable energy source. So, I decided to build a submarine powered entirely by laughter. It was called the Gigglenaut 3000. Goodness me, I never knew about this comedy. Tell me more. What was it built from? Well, it was a mixture of recycled joke books, a hull made of inflatable whoopee cushions, and propellers that spun only when someone told a pun. The engine was fueled by canned laughter harvested from sitcom reruns, and the occasional tickled jellyfish. Oh goodness, so quite environmentally friendly. Yes, and you wouldn't believe how many tickled jellyfish there are down in the deep, and how many sitcoms with canned laughter on them there are. Exactly, yes. So did this submarine actually, did it go out, into the deep? It did, yes. Sprockle on Wig. The village was actually on the coast, so it was a good place to start. And on our maiden voyage, the whole community came to watch the first dive. It's intriguing. They must have found it fascinating. Yes, well, funnily enough, they were there for more than one reason. I actually needed them to help propel the submarine. I handpicked one or two of them to come on board to be my passengers. They were brave. Well, yes, they were, but they were also required to run the submarine. They had to keep telling jokes continuously. They had to watch a loop of squirrels attempting ballet. Denise enjoyed that one. Oh, I bet she did. And they also had to participate in underwater stand-up comedy, wearing snorkels. Good grief. And this worked. It did work. At least until somebody told a pun that was so bad that the submarine groaned and sank into a sulk. And we had to be rescued by a pod of dolphins who found the whole thing hilarious. Oh dear. That's a shame. What was the joke? What do you call a fish with no eyes? Fish. Oh, that is a bad joke. Yes, who told that? That was Gerald. Gerald? Oh, the sentient mop. It sounds more like one of your jokes, Cromitty. Well, I may have told it to Gerald, so even though he was the one who delivered it on this occasion, I'm probably partially to blame. Yes, well, Gerald should have had the common sense to not tell it again. But I suppose what a sentient mop finds funny is different from what someone else might find funny. Indeed. I don't want to take two turns, but I also wanted to tell you about something else. Go ahead. Well, I was actually responsible around the same time for running an ant etiquette academy. An ant etiquette academy. How did that work? Well, I'd observed a colony of ants stealing crumbs with no regard for table manners, and it made me think, these ants need refinement. So I decided to open the Ant Etiquette Academy. It's a pretty good idea. A lot of insects, they actually have no table manners. I once watched a spider eat an orange and, what a mess of it. Oh, I didn't know that spiders ate oranges. No, nor did I until that day, but anyway. Well, what did you do? I came up with quite a strict curriculum. I built a miniature school using matchboxes for classrooms, a chalkboard made from a postage stamp, and, Gerald the Mop as my stern but fair headmaster. Oh, Gerald again. I imagine he'd have made quite a good headmaster. Yes, he did, yes. So what lessons did you put into process? Well, a napkin folding using flower petals, proper crumb presentation, and how to curtsy without losing your thorax. These seem like key lessons that need to be taught. Yes. Talking about lessons, Denise the squirrel also taught a class, advanced acorn diplomacy. And how did that go down? Well, not so well. And the ants found her grading system arbitrary and too nut-based. Yes. Do ants have the strength? Oh, yes. Maybe not one on its own, but yes, if enough of them help. I mean, that caused concern for Denise, I must say. I'm not surprised. We even had a graduation day. Oh, yes. We had a formal banquet. We served up sugar cubes on leaf platters, and all the ants wore monocles made from dewdrops. And, they gave speeches in Morse code foot taps. Oh, it was interesting. Once it got started, the ants took quite a lot of, responsibility for their education. One of those ants was knighted. He became known as Sir Antington. He was knighted for his work in crumb redistribution ethics. Oh, I was so proud. I was able to go, and I saw the whole event. I must say I wept. But I also nearly sat on him, but... You nearly sat on him. He's just been knighted, and you nearly sat on him, Cromitty. You need to be more careful. Thankfully, I just avoided it, but it was a close thing. I forgot where I was. Yeah, well. Oh dear. Well, Yeti Uncle John, I think it's time for you to tell a story now. Yes, I would like to. I would very much like to. Let me have a think. This happened towards the end of my time on the farm. It was my suggestion that Trevor should seek to make a Hollywood movie of his life. Oh, Yeti Uncle John's so ambitious. I remember I was sitting at the kitchen table. I just discovered that there was a family of field mice living in my beard. Yeti Uncle John. Oh dear. Maybe you should have gone to the ant etiquette classes. Maybe I should, although I'm not an ant. No, good point. Anyway, I was sitting there, and Trevor was sitting there as well, and I said to him, you know what? The world needs a movie about ostriches. Their drama, their dreams, their dust baths. And what did Trevor think? Well, he seemed quite pleased. He was practicing his triangle playing at the time. His triangle playing? Yes, musical triangle. Oh, right, yes. And there he was making his ding noises, ding ding. And I kept on thinking about the movie, and I said, we should call the movie Beaks of Glory. It would be like Rocky, but with more feathers and less punching. Only slightly less punching. Yes. So, did you actually go to Hollywood, or did you just talk about it? No, we actually went. We packed our essentials, a suitcase full of raisins, a kazoo, a storyboard drawn entirely in crayon, and off to Hollywood we went. But you were in New Zealand, weren't you? Yes. So we're actually on a boat, anyway, we had to drive to the boat. At the time I had a tandem bicycle with a sidecar for Trevor. Trevor and I, and Kevin, his best mate, and he wanted to be the executive producer. One question. Yes, Cromitty. What happened to Petula? His wife. Trevor's wife? Yeah. That's a story in itself. Maybe I'll tell you about that later. Oh gosh. I sensed it all was not well. No, anyway. So we reached Hollywood. It was quite a long trip on the boat from New Zealand, but we made it. And our first problem was the funding. I'm afraid the studios were quite sceptical. You want to make an emotional sports drama about ostriches training for the Olympics? Trevor nodded. I did most of the talking, and I added, it also needs to be a musical with interpretive dancing. Oh, gosh. Quite an interesting idea. Well, yes. Now, to give them their due, they did their best. They spoke to some of the big studios, but I'm afraid Kevin didn't help. He pecked one of the executives in the first meeting. Oh dear. We also tried a form of crowdfunding. We raised about $17.42 and also got a coupon for free hummus. Well, that's useful. Yeah. In the end, we did a few street performances. Unfortunately, Trevor's kazoo solos were banned in at least 3 districts. He wasn't any good. Oh no, he was good, but almost too good. People were freaked out. You think of Hollywood as being quite a liberal, place to work, but actually, it can be quite old-fashioned. They're not used to somebody quite as talented or fully formed as Trevor. They like to feel that they've made the star. No, I can see what you mean. It must have been expensive trying to get by in Hollywood, though. Yes, I had to take a job as a stunt double for a llama in a shampoo commercial. Trevor had a job as a motivational speaker for pigeons, and I think Kevin tried to sell autographed feathers, but he kept eating the merchandise. Oh, what a strange boy Kevin was. Well, another boy, but no, an ostrich. But anyway, it's just an expression. Yes, I know. Oh, well, but all was not lost. Marjorie, you remember Marjorie? Yes. She was the opera singer. Yes, well, she was back in New Zealand, and she wired us a mysterious envelope labelled Emergency Glitter Fund, and inside was $3,000, a glitter bomb, and a note that read, "Make them feel the feathers." Oh, gosh. So did you film anything? Oh, we did indeed. We filmed Beats of Glory in a parking lot behind a vegan taco truck. Oh, but, we still made it. I think Paul made some films in Hollywood. Sounds very much the same. Well, yes. Yes, I know Paul made some YouTube videos with his poems. But, but this was an actual movie, Beats of Glory. I'm still very proud of it. The climax featured Kevin slow motion sprinting towards the finish line while Trevor played the national anthem on his kazoo. I even did a narration in haiku. It does sound marvellous. You must have been there before, Paul. Yes, this was the noughties. Paul was there in about 2010, 11, 12. Yes, I was definitely there before him. Oh, so both of you, 2 members of the Shadow podcast, are Hollywood movie stars. Well, yeah, Paul was in front of the camera, of course. More than I was, anyway. Oh, I was a producer, though. Yes, of course. Unfortunately, I must say, I should have put it on YouTube, but I was always intent on making money, and because I was, the film was never released. But it was screened in some film festivals, and we did win an award. We won an award. What did you win? Best unintentional comedy. It was at the Feathered Fringe Festival in Saskatchewan. Oh, best unintentional comedy. Huh? Nice, very good. Yes. I think we should listen to some music, listeners. And when we come back, we'll have a special guest. Yes, a special guest. Is it the usual special guest? It's both guests are the same as usual. But never mind, short notice. This is trouble, short notice. Oh, yes, I understand. Oh, it was still recording. Have a listen to some music. Yes, please do. Listeners, we're back again, and we're back with one of our regular guests. It's Bettina Dupre.
Darling, how are we?
Oh, I'm fine, yes, I'm fine. I think the listeners are probably fine too. So, what's your anecdote going to be about this time, Bettina?
Well, darling, I thought you'd enjoy this. I thought I'd go right back to the very early 60s, middle 60s, anyway, a long time ago. I thought I'd tell you a story about my first husband, Max, who I believe you probably have met.
Oh yes, we've met Max.
Yes. I think you got us out of a bit of a sticky situation a few years ago. And, yes, we do see each other from time to time.
Yes. Well, please go on.
Well, you know, Max and I didn't last. And, but that's not what the story is. He was my first husband, as I say. And, then I didn't really have another husband for many years until I met August, of course. Oh, well, met him again back when he was down in his Twinklehorn. Obviously I had plenty of boyfriends in between, but again, that's not necessarily a story for today. But we got on very well at the start, but he was a difficult man to live with. We first met in Paris, actually, in the late 50s, at a gallery opening where I was performing a spoken word interpretation of Les Miserables, using only facial expressions and a tambourine. These were my very early days of show business, before I started making movies. But even then, Max was a gallery owner, and he was instantly smitten by me. Not just by my cheekbones, but he also seemed to appreciate my raw, uncurated energy. That's what he used to say anyway.
Oh, Bettina.
Yes, well, he wooed me with champagne and a promise to make me the centrepiece of his life's collection. I was young, I was easily flattered. I was a romantic, a hopeless romantic. And, yes, it wasn't long before we were married, after a whirlwind courtship, which may have involved gondolas, gallery openings, and an unfortunate incident with a mislabeled sculpture of a wombat. But
oh, Bettina, it does sound romantic.
It was, absolutely. Yes, as I said, at first it was bliss. Max would host parties where he would ask me to recite poetry whilst wearing vintage Dior, and I often seemed to be in the newspapers for one thing or another. We were the posh and becks of our day.
Oh yes, posh and becks, very 90s.
Yes, darling, but this was the early 60s.
Sounds very glamorous.
It was in many ways, but the cracks began to show when Max suddenly decided over breakfast one morning that I should give up acting.
Give up acting? You? It's unthinkable.
Well, yes, darling, I'd only just begun. I suppose at that stage, I was doing very small productions. I was in little theatre plays, and yes, I wasn't the movie star I would become a year or so later.
But what were his reasons? Was it jealousy? He thought that you would distract from his work, or that you would get whisked away by somebody else?
Maybe. He used to say, "Darling, you're too vivid for the stage. You should be a waitress, a muse in motion, serving espresso with existential gravitas."
I can't imagine that went down very well with you.
No, he had the strange idea that I should... You know how in Hollywood, every waitress is an actor or a writer waiting to have success. He seemed to think that, I should reverse that. I was beginning to get success, and what I should really be wanting to do is be a waitress. I think that's the way he was thinking. And but I said to him, I've trained at the Sorbonne. I don't do foam art. I'm not working as a waitress even to supplement our lifestyle.
I don't blame you. Wasn't he a gallery owner? Didn't he already have, a fortune?
Well, he did and he didn't. It was difficult to say. He was always buying things and investing in things and betting on the horses, so it was difficult to tell how much he was a success. I mean, he appeared to be a success when you saw his picture in the newspaper, but how much that represented the truth. I'm sure he was in debt quite a lot of the time. It was swings and roundabouts, darling.
Yes, I see what you mean. So, did he accept your reply?
No, darling. He was persistent. He even designed a cafe concept called Dupresso, where I could wear a silk apron and recite Beckett whilst delivering croissants.
Oh, dear.
Yes, well, anyway, the plan collapsed. I don't know why, but I agreed to a trial run, but unfortunately I accidentally set fire to a napkin whilst performing the seagull, and, I ended up in the newspaper because I'd mispronounced pain au chocolat.
Oh, dear. Well, it's very easy, to say the wrong thing. Yes, indeed. Is that what ended the marriage?
Not immediately. We struggled on a few more years, but obviously I ended up in movies, and then, yes, eventually we went our separate ways. I remember speaking to The Guardian at the time, and they asked me about him, and I said, I married a man who wanted to frame me, but I prefer to be unscripted.
Oh, marvellous. Oh, that was a very clever thing to say.
I still remember, just after the divorce, Max curated a controversial exhibition called Women in Silence. I actually went there and I boycotted it, taking all of my girlfriends with me. I think Tabby might have been there. The others all stood there with placards and chanting and things, but I got to stage a one-woman protest in mime. I wore a beret and I held a sign that read, "Silence is not golden, it's beige."
Oh, bravo. Oh, yes.
Max wanted me to be still, but I was born to be loud, wearing large wigs and short skirts. And even then, I had a personality that's best described as flammable. No man would put me in my place.
Well, this is why you're such an icon even to this day.
Thank you, darling.
Do you have time for another story before you go, Bettina?
Well, I suppose whilst we're talking about relationships, some of my biographers tend to confuse the facts. For a long while, when I used to look at Wikipedia, they had the next person I'll tell you about listed as a husband. But as I say, after Max, there was no husband until Damius, August.
It happens a lot. Sorry, can I just have a quick slurp of my coffee before you start?
Yes, of course, darling.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. So you were saying?
Yes. As I say, Wikipedia and some of the newspapers always seem to get it wrong. Although I didn't have any other husbands, I was engaged to be married a number of times, so I guess that's where some of the confusion came in.
Yes, of course.
But I used to say to them, darling, if you're going to rewrite my life, at least get the casting right.
Oh, yes. Oh, Bettina.
So, yes, Max was my first and only husband at that point. A brooding gallery owner with a penchant for surrealism and a misguided dream for turning me into a performance waitress. I mean, it was a brief marriage. Not brief enough for my liking, but it was dramatic. It was punctuated by arguments about whether existentialism could be served with hollandaise. Well, yes, the next gentleman was a fencing instructor. He was my fiancé. He was a Hungarian whirlwind known as Laszlo Varaldi.
Goodness gracious.
Here, have a look. I have a photo. Sorry, listeners.
Good grief. My goodness. Oh, Bettina. Oh, my goodness, he's quite impressive. You still keep that photo in your purse?
I do indeed, darling. Oh, dear. Of course, he doesn't look like that now.
Well, no.
He's still alive, somewhere. He must be about 103, but...
Well, tell us the story.
Well, we met in Budapest doing one of my tours. I was performing Lady Macbeth in a converted bathhouse, and Laszlo was teaching fencing to diplomats, and oh gosh, he had a jawline that you could slice through bureaucracy.
Oh gosh.
It all happened so quickly. Our courtship was a blur of swordplay, paprika, and, well, of course, Desdemona was with me at this point, and she kept squawking, touché, at inappropriate moments.
It does sound very romantic. It does indeed.
Yes, and Laszlo proposed to me after a moonlit duel on the chain bridge using a cocktail stick as a ring. I accepted, of course, although at the time I thought it was part of a mime routine.
Oh golly.
Unfortunately, it didn't last long. The engagement unravelled when Laszlo tried to choreograph my stage movements using fencing footwork. I refused to lunge during a doll's house. Of course, Desdemona sided with me, shouted retreat every time Laszlo entered the room.
Did it end badly?
Well, I like to think we parted amicably. We did have a final duel, though, in Paris, fought using baguettes. Naturally, I won.
Of course.
I have quite a lot of fiancés I could tell you about, but maybe another day.
Yes, that would be wonderful. I'm sure there's more to tell about Laszlo.
There is. I'm just not sure how much of it I can tell in polite company.
Oh, golly. Well, thank you, Bettina, for being here. And, we'll speak to you again soon.
Thank you, darling. Thank you.
Yes, now's the time for some music. When we come back, we'll have Paul the Shy Yeti calling in to tell us about another of the many shows that he took part in.
Oh, darling, I might sit in the corner and listening.
Please do. Anyway, listeners, have a listen then, and we'll be back in a moment or two. Paul, it's great to have you back. It's great to be here. I'm sorry I didn't have time to do my own show, but I do have time to pop in and share another anecdote. Yes. Well, what are you going to tell us about now? Well, I forget the year, but it was a while ago. I did a show which I called Temporal Tea and Verse. It's quite a peculiar gathering. It's still debated about on poetry forums to this day. It was sort of a homecoming gig. I tried to make it a bit like spontaneous, like a pop-up thing. It didn't have a lot of publicity, but it did attract some really interesting contributors and audience members. And where did this all happen? Well, actually, as I say, homecoming. It took place in a mossy glade just outside Salisbury, and you know, for some reason, as I say, I put an advertisement for the show on the internet, and And although a lot of people on my Facebook list never saw the advert, some time-travelling badgers did see it, and they showed up, and yeah, I mean, they were wearing tweed waistcoats and monocles. They'd just been in 1847, apparently. Time-travelling badgers. Oh, sounds like your usual audience, Paul. Yeah, they're very smart, very smart. How did they get here? Oh, they had this thing called the chrono kettle. It was a brass teapot that brewed time itself and allowed them to travel. I would be fascinated to learn more about the chrono kettle. Yeah, well, so most people, but, you know. Of course, I prepared a set, but I was very much into improvisation at the time, and you know, I've always been very interested in improvisation, and had a notepad of sort of ideas, full of loose leaf metaphors, and a thermos flask of chamomile tea, and I felt that having the time-travelling badges there, it needed something else, not just my old set. So I tried to do something new. So I came up with something called Steeped in Time. This is just the first few lines. Go ahead, Paul. I brewed a thought from yesteryear. It tasted faintly of old fear, but with a splash of future cream, it softened into hopeful steam. The past is bitter, bold and black, the future sweet but hard to track. So sip the now, let silence clink, and stir your soul before you drink. It's almost good, Paul. Thank you again, John. Praise indeed. Yes, praise indeed. It did make me feel quite confident. I could see that at least one of the badgers was weeping into his cravat, and another adjusted his monocle and whispered that was steeped to perfection. I sort of, yeah, I took that as a good sign, and I kept improvising. And the next poem I created there on the spot was called "The Clock Forgot to Tick." Oh, yeah, I like that title. Yeah, I know. I was partly inspired by the fact that I'd forgotten to wind my wristwatch that morning. But anyway, the poem went something like this. I met a moment in between where nothing moved but all was seen. The clock just blinked, then took a nap, and time became a velvet trap. We danced in seconds left unsaid. We toasted hours long since dead, and in that hush I found my place, a beast adrift in woven space. Gosh, did the badgers like it? The badgers did like it, and the chrono kettle whispered, which I took as an approval. Some of the scones at the picnic began to levitate as well. I don't know what that was about. Oh, good golly, levitating scones, Paul. Absolutely. Did you improvise more? I did. I think there was something called Badger Prints on the Timeline, which I tried to make specifically to the time-travelling badgers. So it went something like this. They tunnelled through the years with grace, left paw prints on the fabric's face, and though they wore the past like tweed, their hearts were stitched with future need. So here we sit, in 2007, drinking tea and tasting heaven, a Yeti, badgers, time unspun, proof that verse can make us one. Oh, so it was 2007? No, it wasn't, but it was a year or two later, but I needed something to rhyme with heaven. Oh yes, well, there's a problem. Yes, well, you know, I'm not sure the badgers knew it wasn't 2007. Haven't paid too much attention. You know, when you time travel, one year is very much like another. Yes, well. So, it sounds like it was a very interesting event. It was, yeah. The badgers gave me a pocket watch as a gift, as a thank you, which, considering my watch had stopped, was nice because, yeah. I kept that watch for many years. I think I lost it on one of my trips with Ick, but or it's somewhere on his ship. Oh gosh, yes, very easy to lose things on each spaceship. I must say it was quite an odd pocket watch. It only worked in emotional time. It used to tick louder when I was nervous. I do remember seeing it. Yes. Oh yes. Yes, it was a handsome timepiece. It was indeed. Paul, whilst you're here, will you tell us about the Yetis you've been associating with on the little island? Yes, I will. Yes, definitely. Well, as I was telling you, I was just over in the Isle of Wight seeing Mark, and I was supposed to be coming back, and I just bumped into this big coach tour of Yeti, just as I got to ride Esplanade, and they recognised me, and they were heading to Ventnor. Apparently, there were some underground tunnels in the chalky hills around Ventnor, and I've heard talk of them, but I didn't know they actually existed. But that's where they were headed. They were quite a spiritual bunch. They kept talking about moss meditation and fog chanting, and one of them asked me if I knew much about the sacred art of pebble stacking, but sadly I don't. And it did make me a bit self-conscious. I'm going to think, am I a real Yeti if I don't know about these things? I don't know what you think about that, Yeti, Uncle John. Yes, pebble stacking. It's a bit old school for me. Yeah, I feel the same. But so that they knew it was me. They knew I was a poet, and one of them called me a prophet. A prophet? Well, either they thought I was a prophet, or they thought hanging out with me might make them some profit. Yeah, that sounds more like it, Paul. Well, I don't know, but I was flattered by the attention. There they were, a procession of shaggy figures standing before me, draped in kelp garlands, humming in harmonic dissonance. They even bowed at me. One of them even offered me a ceremonial rock cake, and they started referring to me as the verse bringer. I was quite flustered, but I remained polite. They pointed to this ancient mound, which they referred to as the Crag of Contemplation, and they wanted me to read a poem from up there. It was a little bit overwhelming. They were gathered below me, paws clasped, eyes misty, and this was another time where I kind of had to cobble something together, like in the moment, improvise. They all seemed very fascinated by me. But, I cleared my throat and I began to speak. Kitty, Uncle John. I'm not a prophet, just a poet. I never asked for worship. No, I only write where breezes blow. My words are moss, not marble stone, a whisper meant for those alone. But if you find some truth in rhyme, or comfort in my clumsy time, then let us sit, not bow or kneel, and share the things we dare to feel. For I am fur and frost and flaw, not deity, but creature raw. So take this first not as command, but as a paw to gently stand. Stand, cool. Command. I couldn't say command. You could have done, Paul. No. Anyway, they didn't seem to notice. They all seemed very, very unconscious. No, but they did all kneel down to me. I was worried about their clothes. They knelt in a pile of seaweed, and it looked quite clammy. A couple of them actually carved the poem that I'd only just made up on the spot. They carved it into a driftwood tablet and they floated it out to sea. They did what? I don't know. They were very intense. Yes. Oh, goodness me. I've already seen a couple of the posts they've made. They wanted me to go to Ventnor with them, but I said I really needed to get back, but I've agreed to meet them again for a cup of coffee, which is why I've stayed back in the little island for an extra day or so, and I wasn't available for editing the next Charlotte podcast episode proper. Yes, well, we didn't mind about that. Well, thank you. Anyway, so they've been referring to me as the reluctant sage of Sandown. and some of them have been writing poems as gifts to me. Were they any good? Yes, they were very good. I think they were marvellous. I see, yes, Paul. Yes. Have you been working on anything, for when you see them at this coffee meet? I have. It's a sort of, I guess it's the lyrics. I haven't got a tune. It's sort of the lyrics to what could be a song. They called me the verse bringer when I first met them, and I'm trying to think of a way of staging it. I was thinking perhaps it could be performed in a circle of kelp and chalk with some rhythmic stomping and maybe a foghorn. That sounds nice. Yeah. What, how does it go? Fur of frost, voice of moss, he walks when winds are never cross. Verse he brings, soft and shy, words that make the sea mist cry. Yeti bold, yet gentle soul, he makes the broken pieces whole. Speak, O sage, from hill and dune, your poems are our sacred tune. Stack the stones, light the fog, honour him with kelp and log. Let the cliffs repeat his name, the verse bringer, wrapped in flame. Wrapped in flame? You're asking to be set on fire, Paul. Oh no, Yeti Uncle John. It's on a metaphor for unharnessed latent sexuality. Yes, I think you're right, Comity. Obviously, when they chant, they repeat it like 3 times or something, each time like slower than the last until the fog joins in itself. I've also written a slightly longer poem that I can read them if they don't, if they don't like the chant. But I thought they'd like something where they could take, they could join in. Yeah, exactly. But I could perform this one on the Crag of Contemplation or something. I call it I Am a Creature Who Writes. Go on then. I'm not carved from legend stone, nor crowned in myth, nor throne, nor bone. I do not walk with thunder's pride, I shuffle soft with fears inside. My fur is patchy, moss adorned, my heart a cave, both bruised and warmed. I do not seek your bowed acclaim, I only speak when called by name. I write because the silence aches, because the dawn forgets it breaks, because the stars, though far and cold, still whisper truth too shy to hold. I write for pigeons, ghosts and yaks, for Martians sipping tea from cracks, for badgers lost in time's embrace, for those who feel out of their place. I write for you, who stack your stones, who hum in fog, who walk alone, not as your sage, your god, your flame, but as a beast who feels the same. So take these words, not as decree, but as a portrait left for thee, a trail of verse, a gentle thread, to guide you when the light has fled. I am not prophet nor divine, just fur and frost and crooked spine. But if my poems help you stand, then let us walk paw pressed to hand. For worship is a heavy thing, and I am built for wandering. But friendship, that quiet right, is where I bloom, is why I write. Oh, Paul, I like that. You think they will too? I hope so. Well, Paul, we better let you go. I'm sure you need to get ready for your coffee, whatnot, performance theme. Yes, you're right, yes. Maybe I'll report back at the end of the episode. Yes, that would be wonderful. Well, anyway, I think it's time for us to share some music. When we come back, Comity and I will tell you some last anecdotes this episode. Yes, we'd love to. All right. shall I go first? Please do, please do. I thought I'd tell you about Petula and and what happened to Trevor's marriage. Oh dear. Will I need a tissue? It's up to you. Anyway, as you remember, Petula was no ordinary ostrich. She had flair, she had grace. She often won best neck wiggle at the avian galas. And Trevor was smitten from the moment she pecked him in the shin during a dust bath dispute. I've told you about how they married, and what a beautiful day it was underneath the eucalyptus tree, and it was a wonderful, wonderful day. But hanging around with Trevor, he got a lot of attention, and I feel like fame changed Petula. Of course, as you'll remember, Trevor had a brief stint in the band Featherstorm, and around that time she started mingling with like an artsy crowd. Ducks who painted with their feet, pigeons who did slam poetry, and one goose named Marmaduke. Marmaduke was different. Oh dear, Marmaduke. Yeah, he used to wear this feathered cloak. Not just that, but eyeliner. And back when, not a lot of gooses wore eyeliner. This is quite popular now these days, isn't it? Yeah, but not then. He was different. He always insisted that he was channeling the spirit of a misunderstood vulture. He spoke in cryptic metaphors, and he once even tried to host a séance using raisins and a tambourine. Petula was intrigued. Trevor was so busy at that time. He was kind of confused that she was seen so distant. But even Kevin, noticed something was wrong. But I think he was too polite to say anything. Oh gosh! And what happened? Well, one morning Petula was gone. All that remained was a note written in glitter glue. Oh, well, what did she write? It was something like, "I must fly with those who dare to flap against the wind. Marmaduke understands my darkness. Also, he has a motor scooter." Marmaduke had a motor scooter? Yeah. Not only was he the only goose in those days who wore eyeliner, he was the only goose who drove a motor scooter. So, he really was quite something. I told you he was different. Well, indeed. How did Trevor take it? Oh, he was heartbroken. He did try and win her back with a kazoo serenade and a flip chart presentation titled "Reasons You Shouldn't Date a Goose Who Thinks He's a Vulture," but it didn't work. Oh, and did it last? Are Petula and Marmaduke still together? Well, as I say, this was quite some time ago, so I don't know. I'm not sure of the lifespan of an ostrich, but anyway, they lasted as long as I was in touch with them all. They ran a sort of performance art collective called Feather Noir out in Wellington. Interpretive dance nights and weird plays where everyone wore beak masks and screamed into buckets, that sort of thing. Oh yes. It's quite popular in New Zealand. Well, yes, I believe so. And what about Trevor? I mean, did he find love again? He did. He dated a peacock called Linda, who taught yoga and talked a lot about radical beak alignment. He seemed happy. Yeah, mostly. It wasn't long after that I moved away. Oh, Yeti, Uncle John. Well, I'm glad you told us about Petula. I did wonder because, a lot of the stories that you told after the wedding didn't sort of feature her. Well, I know that's because she sort of got distracted by other things and she wasn't really there. Oh, because of Marmaduke, of course. Yes. Well, before we go, you've got to tell us one last story, Cromitty. I will. Let me have a look. Let me think. So I'll just have another slurp of my coffee whilst you prepare yourself. All right. thought I'd tell you. About a day out I had with Eek. Wasn't that long ago, but I sort of never talked about it because I was slightly embarrassed. Oh dear, what happened? Eek had discovered an abandoned library that had closed down, and the books were just there. You know how much Eek likes to eat books. I do. Well, he and I were talking, and he said, you know what, I'm going to this library to eat some books for the weekend, and I think you should come too. I think you should eat some books, because I think it would help with your intelligence. You're an intelligent man already. Thank you, Eek. You're not doing the voice. Yeah, I can't do the Eek voice. It's too high for me. Yeah, all right, keep going. Yes, well, he said, you're an intelligent man already, but if you eat some more books, I think you'll get even more intelligent. I didn't realise what the contents of the book passes by osmosis into your head or something. That was his theory. Oh, eats so many books, he must be super intelligent. Well, he is, isn't he? Well, I guess so. Yeah, well, yes. Well, as I was saying, I said to him, me eat books? I don't think us human beings are meant to eat books. But he said, no. You come with me. So I did. So, I got ready. I even wore my ceremonial thinking trousers. Do you remember them? Oh yes, the trousers which were filled with glitter. Well, yes, that's right. I remember on the way to the library, he was laughing, and he said, "It's always so funny how you humans read books when everyone on my planet we eat them. It's a different culture." Okay, so what happened when you reached the library? Well, we reached the abandoned library, which Eek had access to. It was rather damp, and there was some ghosts in the encyclopedia collection, but I bet there were shelving imps. Shelving imps, yes, and bookworms. They were quite judgmental. Anyway, so which books did you try to eat? Well, I just picked a few randomly. I chose Advanced Quantum Marmalade, The Emotional Life of Teapots, and How to Speak Fluent Squirrel in 30 Days. I thought that would impress Denise, quite probably. Anyway, Eek demonstrated the proper technique of eating a book. You have to fold the spine like a taco, sprinkle it with paprika, and then chew thoughtfully whilst humming the theme from Star Trek. Star Trek? Does there have to be Star Trek? Well, that seemed to be his method anyway. So you had a go? I did, but I don't like paprika. So, I did everything he said. But I didn't sprinkle. And? Well, at first, it was difficult, but I managed to read the books that I'd selected. And for a while I felt brilliant. I managed to recite obscure facts about spoon evolution, and I even debated philosophy with a confused pigeon, but then the indigestion hit. Oh dear, indigestion. There was nothing worse. Yes, but this was specific library-based book-induced indigestion, so quite different to normal indigestion. I started burping footnotes. I even sneezed an index page. I started to hallucinate that I was a thesaurus. Well, it's a type of dinosaur, isn't it? No. Anyway. No, it's a type of book. Anyway, I just wanted to get the books out of me, but they were embedded in my stomach. I can't believe it. We never heard about this. Oh, as I say, you and Paul were away somewhere, and I've always felt a bit embarrassed about mentioning it. Oh dear. What did Eek say? He looked very concerned. He was very apologetic, and he said that, my people have 4 stomachs and a built-in bibliography filter. And all you have is jam. Yes. That didn't really help, though. No, but Eek took me up to see Sister Oo and her team. They were able to remove the emotional life of teapots from my lower intestine, and they prescribed a strict diet of soup, silence, and no literature. It took me a couple of days to recover, but I kept hiccuping up plot twists, and still I dreamed in footnotes, but eventually I was fine, and when you and Paul returned from wherever you've been, I didn't like to mention it. And I return to reading books the old-fashioned way. Although I still sometimes lick the cover, just in case. Well, listeners, this is a good reason why you should never eat a book. It's something that only X people can, digest, literally. Anyway. Well, yes, absolutely. Anyway, we're running out of time, so we should say goodbye. Yes, goodbye. Thank you, listeners, for listening. Do join us again soon for another episode of the Yeti Show. Although we don't know when it will be because, yes, we're an emergency fill-in. Yes, we are. All right. Take care. Yes. Goodbye for now. Gravity, come in here. What's going on? Bettina's going to tell us a bit more about Laszlo. Oh, right, yes, Bettina.
he's been bullying me into it.
I've not bullied you.
Oh, no, darling, I'm teasing. I guess there are other anecdotes I can give about Laszlo. Yes, the time we went to Crete just after he'd proposed. Anyway, guys, beware, it's quite an absurd theatrical tale, but we kind of went to Crete for a holiday, but I also needed to learn my lines for a one-woman show that I was doing called My Life in Feathers and Flames.
It sounds fascinating.
Yes, I mean, I used to do one-woman shows quite a lot. Then I didn't for many years, until recently with Charlotte.
Of course.
Oh gosh, though, this was after Max. I think we're talking late-ish 60s. I needed to learn my lines, and Laszlo wanted some sort of restorative retreat from his sword play. Wanted silence, but obviously I can learn my lines in silence, so that worked for me. I just threw a few of my favourite caftans into a bag and grabbed a copy of Zorba the Greek, which I often used as a pillow in those days, and we headed off. I think we stayed in a villa near Knossos, if that's how you pronounce it, I can't remember. But, Laszlo spent his mornings practicing lunges in the olive groves, and I spent mine trying to think of different ridiculous ways of saying the word Masaka, plus learning my lines.
Of course.
One evening, though, after a particularly heated debate about whether fencing was a metaphor for intimacy, I said yes. Laszlo said only if you parry correctly. Anyway, we wandered into a local festival celebrating Cretan mythology. There I was, dressed in flowing linen and wearing gold sandals. I was mistaken for a priestess. Meanwhile, Laszlo was mistaken for a gladiator. He had his sword with him. He carried it everywhere.
I can imagine.
I was carrying my script. Some of the locals mistook that as some kind of sacred oracle, something like sacred Bible, for want of a better word. And then, in the middle of the town square, up pops a Minotaur.
A Minotaur? A real Minotaur?
No, darling. Most of the real Minotaurs have moved away many years ago, but the locals still like to dress as them, to impress the tourists. This Minotaur was a local performance artist named Nikos. He took his role very seriously. He wore a papier-mâché bull's head and well-welded a skewer of lamb. And he challenged Laszlo to a duel. The weapon was a kebab. The arena, the circle of tourists chanting, go, 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 but in Greek.
Good grief, Bettina.
I know, I was shocked. Anyway, so Laszlo, ever the gentleman, he accepted the duel. I wanted to be involved, of course, so I just sort of narrated the whole thing. Narrated the duel using a smattering of ancient Greek. I didn't speak it, but it sounded authentic. I guess I made it up, but nobody seemed to notice.
No, sometimes that's the best way.
Yes.
How do you go?
The duel? No, it was short-lived. Laszlo slipped on some camera salata, and the kebab flew into the crowd, and actually I caught it mid-air. I declared, the gods have spoken. Nikos bowed, and the crowd applauded. The local priest wept with joy.
Oh, tremendous. Oh, I can picture it.
No. Later that night, we were expelled from the festival for culinary misconduct, but I took it as a badge of honour. Of course, Laszlo sulked for 3 days and refused to eat anything skewered. The whole thing ended up in the local papers. I remember the Mediterranean Times asked me for a quote, and I said, Crete taught me that myth is just misunderstood theatre, and that kebabs are best left to professionals.
Oh, Bettina. It's marvellous. Oh, the phone's ringing now. Oh, we've got some music as well. Let me answer this phone. We'll be back in a minute, listeners. Yeti Spaghetti Show. The Yeti Spaghetti Show. Oh yes, the Yeti Spaghetti Show. It's so much fun. Come and join us again soon. Yes, come back. This will be here again anytime now. Yeti Spaghetti Show. Yeti Spaghetti Show. Hello? Hi, it's Uncle John. How's the recording going? It's gone on quite long this time. How are you? I'm fine, I'm on my way back. I'm on the ferry. Oh, good. I'll put you on speakerphone. Say hi, Cromitty's here, Bettina's here. She's told us a great anecdote about some sort of festival in Crete back in the late 60s. Oh, I look forward to hearing it. Hi, guys. Hello, Paul. Hello, darling. What's up? You sound, you sound stressed. Yes, it was quite a tiring visit to the little island. Well, the last couple of days have been anyway with my fan club. Oh, you love it, Paul. Yes. Yeah, I'm quite envious.
Oh, darling, it's great to have fans. You have to embrace them. Sometimes literally.
Yeah, well, it didn't go so well since I last talked to you. Oh, I thought you were going to perform. I did. I went up onto the crag of contemplation as discussed, and I had the material prepared, and I read a number, of the ones I'd done before, the new one that I told you about as well, and then I had something else that I'd written called The Myth of Majesty. I thought they'd like it. I kind of wrote it as a sort of gentle meditation on humility, but I don't know. But this time, the audience wasn't just, that coach tour. There were some actual local Yetis there, and I don't know. They didn't seem to like that the attention was all on me. The actual island Yeti, they spend months building pebble shrines and composing fog chants, they have their own ways, their own routines, their own, I guess, gods, I think you could say. Oh dear, Paul.
Oh, gosh, darling.
Yeah, they sort of saw it as a direct challenge to their spiritual devotions.
Well, what did you say, darling?
Well, this is a bit of the poem, The Myth of Majesty. This is the one that sparked all the problems. You call me sage, you build me shrines, but I am stitched with crooked lines. No crown, no light, no sacred flame, just fur and frost and borrowed name. Majesty is just a tale, a mask we wear when spirits pale. So let me fall, let idols break, and find the truth in each mistake. And it went on like that. It sounds pretty much like the other ones you wrote. Yeah, I mean, in a way, it was. I mean, I haven't written many poems lately, and suddenly I was in the little island, and I expected to perform and present new material, and having to do it in such a small time scale was difficult. But previous times when I performed, there was applause and everything, but this time with the crowd mixed with the Yeti locals and the Yeti tourists, it was quite different. There was silence, not the usual cheers. Silence as thick as clotted fog. Oh, that sounds almost poetic. Well, that didn't seem to interest them suddenly. One of the local elder Yetis, he dropped his ceremonial scone, and another tore off his kelp garland and stomped it into the chalk. The appreciative murmurs of the tourists suddenly turned to growls, and one of the locals shouted, "He mocks the verse bringer right." I realised at this point that the tourist had mistaken me for this verse bringer, who was actually one of the local Yetis. That they had thought that I was him, another poetic Yeti. And of course the locals were furious that they thought I'd been doing it deliberately, like trying to pass myself off as the verse bringer. Oh, goodness, Paul. Oh, dear.
Oh, darling. It's like when people mistake me for Charlotte, or they mistake Charlotte for me. Oh, most people just laugh about it. Yes.
Well, they weren't laughing. I realised there'd been a mistake, and I tried to explain, but the crowd had already begun what they call the rumble of rejection. It's a traditional stomping ritual reserved for spiritual betrayal. So what did you do? I fled, which is not easy for me these days. I'm slipping on moss and chased by a stampede of offended Yeti, wielding driftwood staffs and calling out aggressively poetic insults. One of them said I use rhyme like a man with no brain. Oh dear, how did you get away? I managed to jump onto a paddleboard, which I just found lying on the beach, and I wasn't sure whether I should head straight for Portsmouth, but instead the current sort of took me to the ferry terminal, which I think was probably a better idea. But I lost my luggage. I never went back for it. Hopefully Mark can retrieve it, but so I basically escaped with nothing more than a soggy notebook and a half-eaten rock cake. I've already seen some posts. They're calling me the fallen verse bringer, or the fake verse bringer. Somebody also drew my likeness in chalk upside down on a pebble totem. Oh dear.
Oh, I'm sure they'll realise that you're a celebrity in your own right, Paul.
I wouldn't bet on it. Will you ever go back? Well, I said, Mark's over there. He's got my luggage. I mean, he could bring it to me, but I liked visiting the little island. I didn't know there was quite so much going on in Ventnor. You know, all those Yeti that turns out live in those caves that I didn't even know exist. I didn't mean to, steal the thunder of an established celebrity. I just didn't realise there was already a verse bringer on the little island. But never mind, Paul. As long as you stay away for the next 30 years, you should be fine. Yes. Anyway, I'll be back soon. And listeners, hopefully the Shallow podcast will be back to normal. Yes.
Oh, well, we look forward to you, darling. You're our verse bringer.
I wouldn't go that far. No. We look forward to seeing you, Paul. Thank you. See you again. Goodbye for now. Bye, listeners.
Goodbye, darlings.
Yes, goodbye. Oh, dear. Goodbye.
Should I turn off the recording?
Okay, stopping recording now.
Very cool.